So we're going to continue to work at it. We understand that things take time and patience, but obviously we're also frustrated that more progress has not been made. And hopefully, based on today and in the days to come, we'll have more clarity about exactly the Russian position and priorities are in this regard, and can begin to make some progress. But it's
guys, that's just
difficult as we've seen.
huge.
Yeah, I think we're working on that. Maybe we'll meet and we'll talk about it. I think the Chinese clearly have been supportive of the Russian effort, and I think that generally they've been willing to help them as much as they can without getting caught. But people in Europe and other parts of the world have noticed. But in the end, this peace, if it's possible and doable, will happen between Ukraine and Russia, and we're willing to do whatever we can to help bring it to an end. Well, that's what it has. What? ASEAN. Yeah, of course, that's why we're here, right?
These ideas that were put on the table today, would you characterize them as new ideas?
You actually did it.
The Trump administration had not heard before.
Yes. Well, I think maybe, yes. I think it's a new and a different approach. Again, I wouldn't characterize it as something that guarantees a peace, but it's a concept that, we'll take back to today.
I actually did it.
As soon as I finish with you. I just wanted to know.
At least I could finally go live after like a dozens of lobbies.
Well, I think, look, two things to understand. Number one is these letters that are going on, these trade things, they're happening in every country in the world. Basically every country in the world. The president's been very clear, and he has been, frankly, you go back to videos of him speaking.
You'll run, let's do run. Yes. Guys, I'm currently live streaming. Oh fuck, what was that?
So this has been made clear to countries around the world.
Oh fuck.
About the middle of this month. And the markets demand certainty. And so these letters set a baseline. Now, obviously, that does not foreclose the opportunity for individual countries to enter into negotiations.
What's that scream?
But in the end,
What?
I
don't know. I saw Grandma had it. I didn't see where she put it. I think it's still on the shelf.
But anywhere in the world, I guess my point to you is anywhere in the world that would have traveled this week. So everybody got a letter. And in some cases, some of these countries got a letter where their tariff rate is lower than some of their neighbors, or maybe a country somewhere else. There was an advantage, but of course it's raised.
Bruh, no one's. Oh, 13. Bruh, oh my gosh.
I think there was great enthusiasm that we were here and we're a part of this. A reminder that next week we'll have another high-ranking delegation, including Secretary Lutnick, Deputy Landau from the Department of State, will be traveling to Japan for the World Expo there, and I'll be involved in talks there as well. My very first meeting, I don't know if you know this, but when I was sworn in, I went to the State Department, I gave a speech on the steps, and then my first meeting right out of the box was with Japan, South Korea, and India. And we've repeated that meeting numerous times since then. With that, we've been mentioning we have a running internal joke with my counterpart from Japan. I've literally now seen him about 8 to 12 times, and our joke is that we see each other more than we see our own families. And so these engagements are very important to us, and we're going to continue to stay very committed because this, as I said to all of our partners, this notion or idea of the United States would ever be distracted by the Indo-Pacific or even Southeast Asia is impossible. You can't be distracted. Wars get more attention, but it's impossible to not be focused. This is where much of the story of the 21st century is going to be written. This is where 2/3 of economic growth is going to happen over the next 25 or 30 years. And many of the countries in Southeast Asia, not only are they some of the youngest countries in the world, but they're about to see an enormous expansion of their labor market, their labor pool, the number of workers. This is a historic, once-in-a-generation opportunity, not just for these countries to revolutionize themselves from an economic standpoint, but further strengthen our relationship. We have over 6,000 American companies that have invested But there are a lot of other issues that we'll work together
Oh my gosh.
continue to highly prioritize that. The story of the 21st
Bro,
century
literally
is
no
very
one's in chat.
and the countries
Bro,
that are
only
coming together here,
6.
along with others that have joined and be a part of this, represent some of not just important markets, some of the most important partners we have in the world. This looks like a very quick trip. Do you intend to come back to Asia or Southeast Asia?
Chat, okay. Chat.
Sure, absolutely.
The game is OG Fun Monke Horror. It should be in the title.
Which we look forward to being a part of. We've also engaged with many of our colleagues here at different forums. Many of them, for example, not just at the G7 foreign ministers, they also attended on the sidelines of NATO at the foreign minister level and also at the leaders level. So we'll continue to engage with the region, both in Washington and other places
No
around
one
the
currently
world,
in
and
here.
travel here.
Bruh, as soon as I'm gonna start live streaming next time, it's just gonna tell me the same thing. So this is probably my only live stream I could do right now.
So we'll look for other options. Obviously, the leaders forum will be here in October as well. So we'll be here. We'll be engaged as we do every single day. Right now, by the administration of the August deal that the last administration forged, and I think that raises some questions.
Bro, only 3?
About the U.S. defense commitment here in Asia. What do you say to people here? Well, look, anytime a new administration takes over, there's a review of all policies. I mean, a review doesn't necessarily mean you're against it. We did a review at the State Department of our diplomatic presence around the world because I wanted to know which consulates and embassies could be adjusted both in their size and in their presence to be consolidated presence. We did a review. We haven't closed any embassies, but we did a review. So just because you're reviewing something doesn't mean you're going to necessarily act on it. It means you're a new administration and you want to take an audit and an account about all the policies that you inherit and policies, how they've changed since the last time we were in office when it comes to the Trump administration. So, but our policies in office have not changed. Well, good.
About the ceasefire in the next few years.
Well, we're hopeful. I mean, in the end, we're hoping they'll move to proximity talks. It appears that generally the terms have been agreed to, but obviously now you need to have talks about how you implement those terms. And I spoke to Steve Woodcock last night, and he's optimistic that proximity talks will begin fairly soon, expedited and facilitated by the Qataris and the Egyptians. And so, but we've seen talks fall apart in the past at that stage of proximity talks. So I think we're closer, and I think perhaps we're closer than we've been in quite a while, and we're hopeful. But we also recognize there's still some challenges in the way, and one of the fundamental challenges is Hamas's unwillingness to disarm, which would end this conflict immediately. If they just release the hostages, there shouldn't be a single hostage. There shouldn't be a single hostage body still left. If they release that and disarm, this would end. But that said, the Israelis have shown some flexibility here, and so I think we've seen progress made. So we're hopeful, but we also understand that these things have been difficult for a reason. But we're hopeful that they can move to proximity talks pretty quickly and go from there and have a ceasefire in place in the near future.
Israeli side said there's not aid or the withdrawal of Israeli troops, for instance.
Well, the sticking point would be on the Hamas side. Hamas basically wants Israel to withdraw completely and allow them to go back to being Hamas. Obviously, the Israelis aren't going to agree to that. I think the easiest way to end this, that's not what the agreement is, but the easiest way to end this is for all the hostages to be released and for Hamas to disarm. Absent that, the Israelis and Hamas through the mediation of Qatar.
Bro, no one. Oh my gosh, only one viewer, which is me.
Ceasefire and some elements of that with regards to humanitarian aid through international agencies resuming and so forth. But now you've got to have talks about how you implement that, and that's where this has fallen apart in the past. We're hopeful that it'll work out. We're doing everything we can. We'd like to see a ceasefire. The president's been clear; he wants to see a ceasefire. And we've invested a lot of time and energy, and us Woodcock works every single day on this topic alone. So we've invested a lot of time into that. We'd like to see it happen. Okay? All right?
Anything you can say that hurts the heart?
No, I mean, anybody, it could happen to anybody. I mean, especially if you're a public figure, there's got to get enough, like they could take the interview out of here today and change it around. So, but, as soon as I found out about it last week, I referred it to the
Bro, me. Let's go to OG Run.
It won't be the last time you see me or others for that matter. Maybe some of you will be
Oh, I want to see Smiler. I want to see Smiler.
What's going on, and it's a real threat.
Me. I want to.
Oh, somebody called me, the senator that called me and said, hey, did you just try to reach me and actually send me a voice recording? It didn't sound, it didn't sound like me. Did you fell for that call? You know, but maybe there was a better one that I didn't see. You know, but
It was on the signal, right? So does this
I don't
mean
know how they got it or if it was a voicemail. No, it doesn't matter what form you use. I mean, you know, I don't know.
methods, the like signaling they create like out of email like an address, and that was one of the reasons that they were able to reach out to people and then use the voice messages to imitate your voice.
I've had people in the past ask me if I texted, like, within days of becoming Secretary of State. I had 4 ministers calling the State Department asking if I had just texted them. So, I don't know, guys. This is just the reality of the 21st century. Stuff that's going on. It's, generally, I communicate with my counterparts around the world through official channels for a reason, and that's to avoid this. You know. Yeah, and they said they would perpetrate is somebody with an AI software. That could be anybody in the world. My sense is the target really isn't you. The target is the people that are reaching out to you to try to trick them into a call or whatever. And who knows what they do with it. But you're going to hear about this for a long time. I mean, not just me. It'll happen to other people because all you need is a recording of someone's voice and you can come up with it. So, yeah, it's just one of the other great challenges posed to us by AI. I'm sure there's a lot of positive aspects to AI as well, but this ain't one of them.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio speaking earlier today in Malaysia. He was in Kuala Lumpur, I believe. Live look at Capitol Hill. Still wish whoever was in charge of this camera would bump the ISO up a little bit. Looking a little dark out there on Capitol Hill lately. The White House, shining bright though, as usual. It is time for us to wrap up our coverage for the evening. I'm Austin Westball, and thank you all for watching along with us tonight. As it stands right now, I do not have any live damage reports from Ventura County, California. So, what we're going to have to do in the morning, we come back on the air at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. Our Florida-based newsroom will come back on the air with our morning news. We'll give you the latest updates out of LA then. As it stands right now, we still saw active protests at that farm. It was a cannabis farm in Ventura County, California. It was getting pretty dark, getting kind of tough to see out there. But you know Fox LA is the one with the PM newscast at Donkey Hour. FoxLA.com. And again, live mountains on tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Eastern. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it to a commercial break. On the other side of that, you will see our overnight latest. I'm Austin Westball. Have a good night.
Like us, you might be suffering from moderate to severe obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA. Undiagnosed.
No.
We've been ignored at night and gasped for air. But we still have people who count on us. And we're more than just human beings. OSA is a chronic condition tied to breathing infections and oxygen deprivation during sleep. You're undiagnosed? Join us. Talk to your doctor about OSA. Let's keep being humans.
You're a pilot too?
Yes, I am also a pilot.
Really?
No, that was it. So that's not my business. No.
A book like this has never been written before.
Because there's a reason to do this with you. I might as well burn my own house down.
And I wanted to say that you were really good tonight.
Back, I'm Austin Westball. We are going to continue to discuss the crushing situation in Central Texas. that toll from the floods stands at least 120 people, with over 160 people still missing. It's hard to wrap your head around it. Retired Marine Intelligence Officer Hal Kemper is here. Hal has extensive training in disaster preparedness and response. As always, Hal, we appreciate you joining us. We've been looking at images like this now for nearly a week. We are going to paint a grim picture today. No one has been found alive since Friday, Hal. It's hard to understand the magnitude of something like this. Why are over 160 people still missing?
Well, there's a couple reasons, Austin. First off, you may recall with the Maui fire with Lahaina, there was for a while 1,000 people missing. And when it was all said and done, I think it was 102 people were actually deceased. So anybody who can't be accounted for, and people are looking right now and they're saying, well, I haven't heard from so-and-so for this many days.
Okay, guys, I'm not gonna join the code yet until I'm not gonna join the code yet until we get a little bit more viewers.
That said, though, and you heard it from Fox 4, there were thousands of people camping along the river, and that water came up so fast.
Wait, what am I even doing?
Particularly if they were in a camper, where they may not have noticed right away, but even for those in tents and stuff, that water came up very quickly. The middle of the, it's at night, it's dark, rushing water, and one thing a lot of people realize, they may say, well, the water is fine.
It's what it was.
Yes, but it's rushing water, and it's not
I should have followed them.
seeing the water. And what can often happen is people they don't know where, they can't see where they're stepping, they trip or misstep, they fall, they go in the water, and frankly, a lot of things can happen underwater. They get knocked unconscious or whatever, and they just don't get out of there. So, I wouldn't say
My son!
once you're applying Lahaina,
Guys, that's my son!
last year, I think the numbers are going to go up considerably. But when you look at the debris field, where all those trees that were uprooted, all the other debris that was uprooted, somewhere in there, died victims. And it is a very slow, painstaking process. The other problem is that flash flood moved there was all that alluvial movement of dirt and debris. So even when they go through all the debris fields and the trees and everything else, many of the victims are probably buried underground. And that's going to be a much more difficult process. And we had a big flash flood in Central California, and there was a tremendous amount of searching for a little boy that was lost. They never could find him. And the assumption is that somewhere under that debris field, that dirt, all that rock and everything else, that's probably where he ended up.
Cross base.
Very difficult to find.
A lot of agencies are responding to this. DEA sent this out. Emergency responders and volunteers continue their work in the region now. Locals are cleaning up. And locals, by the way, are being asked not to remove debris that are on their property unless their property's been searched. The DEA says that their thoughts and prayers are with those affected. They say their San Antonio District Office is continuing to support the hundreds of local state responders and volunteers working tirelessly in the ongoing search and rescue efforts in Kirk County. Al, talk to us about the mentality these searchers need to have. How do you mentally prepare for something like this, for such a scene?
Well, first off, when they go in there, they explain this is what you're going to find, and this is what you're looking for, and hopefully they get a little bit of some sort of training or something to kind of mentally prepare them what to look for. Nothing extensive, just something that says, look, this is what we're running into. This is how you need to remove the debris. This is how you need to set it aside, and very importantly, this is how you need to mark it. That's one of the challenges. It's a big problem in dealing with urban search and rescue, but a huge problem in dealing with rural search and rescue is you have to mark those areas so that those around can see, okay, this debris field was gone through, this area was searched, so they're not wasting a lot of time and effort researching areas, and that can happen. It does happen all the time. So these are some of the things that they're working through right now. And you may have heard early on when they started the search and rescue effort, they were talking about using a grid system and marking off areas. That's a tool that's used to assign certain teams to a certain grid, and they have responsibility for it. That's one of the reasons they're trying to keep the public away from going through some of these debris fields right now. Certainly at this point, during the rescue phase, all hands, you're trying to save live victims. They don't want to quite say that they've given up hope and they've moved completely to the recovery phase, but I think de facto is they probably looked at the area, they say, we're probably not going to find any more live victims, and they were kind of moving into more of a recovery phase type of search effort, and so they just got to be very, very meticulous, very thorough, going through everything, and they're using the dogs a lot. The dogs can pick up things that people can't. They will smell if someone is partially buried or even buried. Sometimes the dogs can pick up a scent of human remains in the soil.
So Hal, we are going to have to follow this story. It is continuing, as I mentioned, over 100 people still missing. And by the way, this week's death toll has passed Hurricane Helene's death toll in North Carolina last year. It also passed Hurricane Harvey, which hit Texas in 2017. We have another story that we need to hit with Hal. We're going to talk about the Secret Service. We need to hit a quick commercial break first. Hal and I come back in 2 minutes.
You've had taste made in the palm of your hand. Now we're in your home, where the struggle becomes your victory.
It's pretty freaking delicious.
Now we're everywhere you need to be, where taste is made. Taste made.
It never occurred to me that we would not capture the extinction suffer problem that we would. It did occur to me that it would be an absolute miracle if we did so without any great harm coming to some innocent citizen.
These are big, resting decisions. Heal or
The three women who've come to Rome to star in their very own romantic comedy. I feel like I'm in the leading This is a real
Bro, no one not even joining.
Welcome back. I'm Austin Westfall. Take a look. It's not every day that we get an update related to the assassination attempt on President Trump last summer, but today we did. We learned about some of the disciplinary action taken against a number of Secret Service agents after the shooting in Butler, Pennsylvania last year. 6 Secret Service agents were suspended without pay following the incident. The disciplinary action took place in February, Secret Service says, which confirmed the news because a Senate report on the failures in Butler, Pennsylvania is set to be released soon. National security analyst and host of the Strap podcast, Hal Kemper, is still here. He has decades of interagency homeland security experience. Hal, we will get to the news of the day in a moment here, but we're going to start first with Thomas Matthew Crooks. This is one of the questions I get most often from viewers. They want to know why we don't know more about him. Sunday marks 1 year since the shooting happened. Is it normal, Hal, for us to not know much about such a high-profile shooter?
Austin, it's really interesting. A lot of times there are a lot of questions that surround the shooters. Lee Harvey Oswald. There's still things we don't know about Lee Harvey Oswald that are coming up to this very day. And look how many years that was. That was back in the early '60s. So it's not uncommon. I think of the Route 91 shooting. I can think of a number of other outside the immediate time frame when this took place. And then the other thing too is he's pretty young. There really wasn't a substantial background to talk about. So what's out there is out there. You know, will we ever completely connect the dots as to his motivation? I don't know if we ever completely connect the psychological dots for these guys, but I think we have a pretty good idea of why he did what he did.
So, as I mentioned, Sunday marks the one-year anniversary of the July 13th assassination attempt on President Trump. This is something that we're going to be covering this weekend. The news of the day, Hal, is that the Secret Service did suspend 6 agents. It was supervisors, it was line-level agents, and it ranged from 10 to 42 day suspensions without pay. What's the reason that they gave for the punishment?
Okay, I'm probably gonna end stream here.